2025 comes to a close. What's one thing from this year that felt straight out of a sci-fi movie but actually happened? On a personal note, I saw a meteor flash across the sky and then the aurora borealis, all within 24 hours. I live in Midwest US, so the aurora borealis was an amazing treat. At this time of year? At this time of day? Chernobyl's radiation shield is broken and can't be fixed until the war is over. I've read reports that it's damaged but not leaking radiation, and others that say it is leaking radiation. Nobody seems to know what's going on. It is not leaking radiation. The sarcophagus is still as intact as it was when the NSC was installed around it. The damage occurred in the air gap between the inner and outer skins. Edit NSF to NSC. Gotta love autocorrect. What's a radiation shield? Like a dome that holds it in? Pretty much. It's called the sarcophagus, I believe. Really a shame, always wanted to visit that place. Quite literally, yes. Originally entombed in the sarcophagus, they created a larger dome around that to safely dismantle the insides, which has sustained war damage. The fields in Ukraine covered in drone fiber wire. The most sci-fi thing I've seen and unpredicted. Hundreds of thousands of miles of it. Crazy shit. Modern-day barbed wire, WW1 analogy. This is accurate. Who knows how many people have died this year alone from getting tangled in drone fiber optic cable just to be a sitting duck for the next drone? What's it for exactly? I missed this. Drones need a control signal to, well, control it. It's generally wireless radio, but that can be jammed. So in the Ukraine war, some operators switched to cable fiber wire, to be exact, rather than Wi-Fi, which is pretty much impossible to interfere with. Now when using it for kamikaze drones, those drones will be destroyed, but the wires will remain. Part of the White House being flattened. I saw the pictures and it made me think of some movie where the White House was attacked. I was gonna say easily being able to causally converse with AI. Just like it's a human, like Ex Machina, easily passing the Turing test. But yeah, the White House thing I suppose could be considered sci-fi. Oof. If you think 2025 was the year you got to converse with AI, I got some bad news. AI still doesn't exist and you're falling for a marketing trick applied to LLMs. You failed your own Turing test. Not sci-fi, but history, War of 1812, also sorry for burning down the White House, we were kinda still going through our British colonial phase back then. You know, I'd be less mad if it was you guys this time too rather than reality. Definitely seeing the beginning stages of a late-stage capitalist dystopia. We could have had so many excellent futures to look towards, but we chose the one where billionaires and corporations own everything and we will be forced to live under their oppressive rule. Instead of Star Trek we get Cyberpunk 2077. We're right on track for Star Trek, everyone dies in a WW3 before the survivors manage to cooperate. Running a little late, but yeah, the road to Star Trek is through WW3. Sadly. I am always perplexed when people state that we didn't get the Star Trek future, but some horrible dystopian hellscape. In Star Trek lore, WW3 obliterated the planet. Billions dead. The Earth reduced a nuclear holocaust. Only then did things get better. Every forest that grows too wildly must be burned down to make way for a new future. Human societies are no different. This has been decades in the making. The full chalks-off moment was the so-called Patriot Act that allowed de facto unlimited surveillance. I'm more annoyed that it's being done by a bunch of losers who are still butt-mad they never got laid in high school who want to sell more targeted ads. And I don't even get cool cybernetic enhancements out of the deal. Just microplastics in my blood. I think the phrase is chalks off, isn't it? It's an aviation metaphor. The moment that things get underway and movement can begin with no impediments. The infuriating thing is that we can still change it, but people care about the wrong shit. Like what bathroom someone uses. AI-generated deepfakes that are scarily convincing. Someone, may have been last year even, had the Cleveland Browns owner saying they fucked up trading for and signing the QB Deshaun Watson. Total deepfake and looked 100% authentic and sounded just like the owner. Like saw it was stunned and someone said it was AI, knew at that point it was only going to get more convincing. How could you ever get rid of my Pookie goat Baker Mayfield? I just watched a power slap match between Andre the Giant and Gandhi which looked totally convincing. So, Gandhi's neck broke? It only feels like a year or so ago that we were going, oh lol, AI gave that guy 12 fingers and a third arm, how dumb is that? And now it is getting terrifyingly convincing being able to produce videos and voices. RAM sticks tripled in price in under 6 months because AI companies were buying it all for AI servers. Nothing says sci-fi dystopia like regular people losing access to hardware because the machines need more brains. And now Nvidia is about to do the same. And it fucking ruined Half-Life 3 being announced. We all thought it would be Skynet nuking us, but in the end the AI apocalypse was just the tech industry collapsing under its own rush to the next big thing. Oh, don't worry, there's still plenty of time. Masked mutants rounding up brown people and making them disappear. Worst of all, some of those mutants are brown themselves. It really be your own people. All those posts about people thinking the rapture was happening. Maybe not the part about people believing it, but all the people who gave away ever they own believing they were going to heaven. TBH, not shocking to me. I feel like the rapture/apocalypse/judgment day happens every 5 years or so, just with a new coat of paint to fit the cultural vibes. Most people know it's nonsense, but there's always some who fall for it hook, line and sinker. 2012 is one that I remember, even had its own shitty attempt at a blockbuster disaster movie. I got pregnant after 15 years, lol. Hey, this is the kind of alien possession I can get behind. Best wishes to you and your little extraterrestrial. Excellent. So glad something good happened this year. One thing? This entire year seemed like a dystopian novel. Someone invented a machine that slows time down and turned it on because this year has been the longest 3 years. That FPV drone attack that hit multiple Russian air bases and those sea drones sinking ships and submarines. Looks around at everything, we're basically living in a William Gibson novel. The future is here. It's just unevenly distributed. Nah, we're living in a Philip K. Dick novel. People falling in love with an AI chatbot. The President of the United States posting an AI video of himself shitting on Americans and it's evidently fine? Too bizarre even for idiocracy. Terry Crews sought out the smartest man in the world to solve the country's problems. Trump actively fires competent voices in government. The idiocracy president did much better and I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for that. Nazi rallies being protected was not on my bingo card. I mean, Nazi rallies being covered as free speech is established by Supreme Court precedents that go back to at least 1977. It's not like the current powers that be are significantly more anti-Nazi than other administrations of the past few decades, so I don't know why you eke them to be the ones to overturn it. A neo-Nazi rally in Skokie, Illinois in the 1980s was defended by the ACLU and protected by the police, on First Amendment free speech grounds. It's the downside of free speech, you can't have the government shut them down either. The ICE who post Pokemon generic for me. Is the deportation ASMR for me? Also that AI video of Trump shitting on civilians from a plane. I need to go to a history subreddit or something and ask how this compares to Nazi propaganda. I know the Nazis did worse things, so far, but somehow the attitude of this administration seems more cruel. The Nazis seem to take their actions seriously, as something they believed was necessary. These guys seem like they're just doing it for fun. Yeah, masked agents ripping people's families apart and being sent to concentration camps, done by a taxpayer-funded military force that is solely loyal to a dictator and not to the people or constitution. While also billionaires and corporations consolidate power, land, money and influence. We are leaving 2025 to the start of a dystopian hellscape. The fact that AI systems are now good enough that we're not debating if they'll replace jobs anymore, we're just accepting it's happening and moving on with our lives. A year ago we were in full panic mode. Now it's just background radiation. That's genuinely dystopian when you think about it. We've normalized an existential shift in like 12 months. We went from this is concerning to yeah whatever, anyway faster than most social movements actually accomplish real change. That's the real sci-fi moment. LLMs still have to prove to actually have meaningful business value/added value. It's not because companies are going all in on it now that it'll have a lasting effect. Well, your options are to sit around and worry about it, or accept it and figure out what to do next. Lost my memories of my girlfriend. Undergo the procedure in eternal sunshine of the spotless mind? Can I get the backstory? Honestly, a bit of left field one is how all automobiles these days are taking on very sci-fi futuristic looks that come out of a literal cyberpunk setting. Like, have you seen Kia or Hyundai recently? Every car becoming this weird mismatch of hyper-aggressive features and crazy lights helps really sell we're living in a cyberpunk future. Also the whole flock camera ordeal, with Palantir. The US falling to a fascist dictatorship. The speculation that Comet 3I/Atlas was an alien spaceship. There wasn't really any speculation, it was just one astronomer and his group who has become notorious for going down the alien route. Police found and destroyed a cloning lab underground. Do you by chance have a link? This is fascinating. Weird that the person you're replying to made that insane statement, ignored your request for a link, and then went on a huge posting spree for hours. Almost as if they just say wild things without regard for whether they're true.